So, I've thought of about 100 different ways that I could talk about this journal entry because I realized that once I made it and like while I was making it, that it kind of seemed maybe a little whinier or I don't know, complainy. The idea of like what if my life was better or something like that. And you'll find with me usually, even if I'm in a pretty bad place, I don't usually say things like that. So um, this actually came from a very like high stress week that I've mentioned a little bit, but I haven't gone into a ton of details because um, actually it's because I normally do talk about this kind of stuff, but in this particular case, my family is in a really fragile state right now, and there's a lot more scrutiny on me than there normally is. So I guess I'm trying to be sensitive to everybody, especially my sister, but things have been spiraling out of control a little bit, both with my family and also with my job and just all kinds of things in general. One of those things happened where someone took off at work kind of unexpectedly and immediately and left everybody kind of in a lurch, which has been hard, especially now that we're doing a part of my job that requires people to be away from their normal jobs a little bit to help other people. So it's very hard, and we're also in a very stressful time for our industry, which I may get into a little bit later. I can't talk a whole lot about my job, but I can talk about it a little bit. But I don't want to really totally get into that today. But this page is actually from my my older art journal, and so I just started it out with a little pencil drawing and, of course, my trusty pen. But that's actually not the Pentel one. I think that might be a cheaper one that I got. And, of course, I just used a little bit of the Black Star ink, and I got it wet and put it on there. And there was a guy who had actually come in my chat, and he was like, "How come you make everything so dark?" And I wanted to be like, because it's my journal, you dick. But I was just like, it's my journal. Like, this is my art journal, and, So one of the reasons I used the ink is because once that ink is down, nothing takes it back up. I got it a little bit wet, and, did some work on it, but I really love this effect that you get. I got it with both the ink and then the gesso afterward to just kind of get this, like, speckly look, and then, of course, I, put 100 more layers on it, but I feel like I liked this piece a lot more before I added words to it, but I still do like it, I guess. I've been trying to, especially now that, stuff got drenched, I want to maybe start doing things a little bit more waterproof, either during the process or after. And so this one I actually did some water-soluble stuff, but then afterward I used things that weren't water soluble so that they would set. And it's actually one of the reasons that I bought these new Liquitex inks, which I'm going to be probably reviewing in another video, just to try to do something different, because most of my inks are fountain pen inks, and not all of those are the best for archival art. Some of them are great for writing, but some of them are quite acidic, and some other ones are not waterproof. And it's just, not all of them will mix well with some of the acrylic mediums. And I'm pretty sure that the acrylic inks I won't have any issues with because of the emulsions. It won't be a problem. So, let's see. I ended up streaming a little bit yesterday, but not very long. We got a faster internet so that I can actually upload videos a little bit faster, and so that I'm not like screaming at my computer when my stream goes out, but I realize that it could actually be some other problem that's causing it. I am also trying to get my videos to a higher output, which I thought I had with the last one, but apparently I did not. So unfortunately, that was still at that same weird aspect ratio that I had been having to use just to be able to get my stream out. So I actually wanted to use my distress inks for this because I hadn't used them in a while, and I actually have never used all of them. The only thing I've ever done with them really is make my little chart on the side of them to show which colors they were before I got those tins. But I do have I think most of the colors, if not all of them, and I think I got them from a lady on Facebook. There's always these groups that you can find where people are buying and selling their stashes, or people that like work for places and they get it at a discount, so then they sell it at a really big discount. And I think I got all of the colors for like 50 or $60 or something, which is actually pretty good, because I think each one of those containers of 4 of the little ones costs $10. So I'm always looking for deals like that. I actually have all of the Distress Oxides for a similar reason. I got them because they were on sale at Michael's, and they also had like, it was one of those times when they had like 5 or 10% cash back. It might have been Joann's actually. It was like a lot of cash back, so I can't recommend Ebates enough. I think I might also be pretty soon trying to do maybe a giveaway. I may do a giveaway of one of the Liquitex things, but I got to figure out how to make that work through Amazon first. So I'll get into that eventually. So this piece, as you can see, I spritzed it a lot. I haven't used a whole lot of things on it yet. I used the Distress Oxides and the Distress Inks. I actually used the same colors of those. And so far I've just been using the cheap Joe's Gesso, which I don't have a lot of. So I'll have to be switching to the golden soon. But I think that I did use the cheaper stuff a little bit later. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's gonna this particular, I don't know, technique, as you could call it, is something that I've been doing off and on for a while. So it's not, I don't have any other pages that look quite like this, but I have some stuff that maybe is a little bit similar. And I did end up cutting out a little bit of where I flipped through the book, because this book is almost complete. And I think what I'm going to do is, when it's all the way finished and I have all the pages filled, I've pulled some of the pages out to do some testing, rebinding it. But when I do finish it, it looks like I left that in apparently. I remember what I was doing. I was looking for colors. When I was doing this, I did do a flip through for somebody that was on the stream, so I cut that out. But I did go back through it a second ago just to look to see how many times I had used these colors. I was just trying to get a feel for if I had used them a lot, and there were quite a few where I used kind of orange and yellow and red and stuff, but not quite like this, and definitely not muted like this. I have this thing for like lines and cross hatching. I'm not sure why, but I use it a lot. Actually, whether it's in my like sketches or in this kind of mixed media type of way. And I just kept piling it on. So I would like put some colors on and put a little bit more gesso on, and then put some colors on and put some more gesso on. And I think I hit it with ink 3 or 4 times too, with the dark ink. I just was really enjoying the process of this. And for me, doing these kind of mixed media pieces is, sure, it's about the result, but really it's about enjoying the process, which is my favorite part of any art, is really getting into it and just kind of losing yourself in the process. And it's almost kind of like meditation. Like, I don't stress out when I'm doing my art journal. I don't think about how perfect things are, or, what did I mess up, or did I ruin that nice paper or that nice canvas. I am always weird about everything but the art journals. And one of the things about my art journals is that they are junk journals, and they're not junk journals like scrapbooking people do junk journals. They're junk journals like I actually put junk in them. Like, I found old drawings, I found old pages of things. There's like envelopes and random stuff in there, and there is some art paper as well. And I've been making books like that for, I want to say, 12 years or so. There was this thing on LiveJournal back in the day where people started doing handwritten journals and uploading pictures, and it was like this year-long thing, and all these people started talking about bookbinding and making journals, and that's when I started getting into bookbinding. And because I worked in a frame shop and we had so many like random papers and random things, I would always make journals there out of that. And I have all these like different pages with brown papers, and some of them are drawing paper and printer paper and stuff like that. So I'm still kind of in that mode of like not just making a book full of drawing paper, and not just making a book full of watercolor paper or something like that. I enjoy the variety, and as I mentioned before, I really like the challenge of being like, okay, well, this is the page I got to work on today, or this is my mood today, and I got to make this page work. And just kind of like go with it. And on this day, I actually ended up doing 2 entries in the book, so I'll have another video for the other one, and it's kind of got a funny title. That one is called "Y'all Mind If I Scream?" But back to all the beginning of this. So I called this page, "What If My Life But Better," and a little bit of that is some of like the memeing we've been doing. What if this but that? What if this but that? Which has kind of been popular lately. And I'm starting to like get to that point where I've had so much stress. Last night, I hadn't eaten a full meal in 2 days, and I had been working 8 to 10 hour days when I normally work 6, but I work 6 days a week, and I normally work like 6 hours, and then I have some like kind of floating hours, and there's a very real possibility I won't have a day off this weekend either. So last night I had some food, and I had been on a diet, and I went ahead and ate some like stuff that's not on my diet, and I definitely did not feel good afterward, which is actually the main reason I don't break my diet, is because it makes me feel better when I'm on it. But I just wanted some stuff that was bad for me, and I ended up with a stomach ache. I got dizzy. I went to see my mom, and I only saw her for like 10 minutes, and in that 10 minutes, she managed to like lay enough drama on me about just stuff that was going on with her that my chest hurt when I left. And I get panic attacks, and I have asthma, and my chest was just like, felt like it was caving in, and I was dizzy. And so I went home and I laid down, and I had these stress dreams that were like me in a car drowning, and there were like, I'm afraid of turbines. So that's like my big thing. So you'll probably hear this a lot, but I'm afraid of windmills. But not necessarily just windmills, but like turbines and water. So like giant boats. I have megalophobia, but it's a very specific kind of megalophobia. Like I'm not scared of buildings, but I am terrified of ships, and I am scared of drawbridges, and I'm scared of roller coasters, but I still ride them. But if they're near the water, I'm more scared of those. It's this weird thing. Like even if I'm scared of it, I still have nightmares about it, or even if I can handle it. So in my dreams, I'm like, driving my car into water, and there's these giant turbines, because there actually are turbines in Ireland that are underwater that are from the currents, and of course you can never get anywhere near them, but like they're the size of my whole neighborhood. Like they're massive, and it's just terrifying to me, like the thought process, like the thought of that just existing. I don't know, big stuff. It scares me. It always has, actually. So, yeah, so I woke up from my stress nap, and I called into work a little bit late, and I couldn't feel my face or my arms, which is like this new thing that keeps happening. My chest hurt still. And then I had to go to work, and I had to, put on my work face. And then this crazy stuff with this new bill is getting passed that's going to like hurt a whole lot of people, and a lot of people don't even realize it. So like I said, I'll get into that a little bit more later. And then there's this issue with there's all sorts of stuff that's just like happening all at once, and there's nothing we can do about it. We're all completely lost. So we're getting to the point of the journal where I decided that I was going to actually put some words on it, and I wanted to float something on it. And that's why I started looking in my junk folder for like little bits of stuff, and I found this piece of distressed paper. So I gessoed it and start like slowly trying to match it to the artwork, which I should have just taken a piece of paper and put some of the black ink on it. It would have been a lot easier. And I did end up using these ink tints because of the fact that they are more permanent. I could have easily used other stuff, but I decided to use these for that reason, so that when they dried, I didn't have to worry about it. So yeah, anyway, back to the stress. So I worked I usually work till 5 a.m. actually, and I ended up working over, and I still wasn't done with my job because there's some extra work to do. So I worked over for a little longer, and then I took a break and had some Taco Bell, which was like the worst decision I could have made today, because now I feel like I ate Taco Bell. Breakfast is really what's going on right now. At least I have some iced tea. It's fine. And I came back, and I ended up working for a little while, and I realized that my brain was just fried. Like I was done. This was like the 4th day in a row that I had worked, umpteen hours, even though I came in late. Um, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna make a little vlog and talk about this. And so, like I said, I don't normally say things like, what if my life but better? But I definitely was that kind of teenager. I was like very fatalist, and I was very, my life sucks and this and that and the other. And now I'm kind of like, I actually I think about myself and I think about my life, but I try to think about everybody else's life too, and like what they're going through. Like it's almost like I've reversed, and I have a really hard time making decisions now based on just how I feel. I worry way too much about how it's going to affect other people. Like, you know, I know that like I can come in late or call in if I'm having a really bad night, but like even I don't want to call in if I know we're like short a person, even though I was like sick all night, you know. But like things like that, or like how I'll have like ideas for like something that I really want to do, and then think about like maybe I can't do that because it might, upset somebody, or I worry about that sometimes. And I worry about that like I used to not do that. And I don't know if it's feel like it's a perspective thing, and like I know that things that I have been through have been like heavily traumatic, but even that, I know other people that have like been through worse. So it's, I don't want to say it's comforting, but there's this thing that makes me hold back and be like, no, I can handle this. Like I can do okay. Like there are people that have it so much worse than me, and like I think about that like pretty much all the time actually. Every time I start to feel bad about myself, I start to feel bad that I felt that way. And like this journal piece, like right here, is like me just kind of allowing myself to feel that way for a little while, to actually just kind of like have a little bit of self-pity, because I try not to. And if you know anybody, if you know me, you know like personally that I spend a whole lot of time worrying about other people. Like I even spend a lot of time worrying about people when I should probably actually just be mad at them. Or and so it gives me like that extra amount of stress, just like worrying about people. Um and so sometimes you gotta vent, and sometimes your vent is me saying, what if my life but better? Like what if like this shit wasn't happening? But the reality is my life is actually very, very good. Like I am in a very loving, stable relationship. I have pets. I have enough money. I have enough food. I am zoomed in way too far, and I'm sorry about that. It's me just getting some 3M sticky stuff. Anyway, I am comfortable. I may have pain and I may have a ton of health problems, but obviously I'm doing well enough that I can upload videos to YouTube. I have a nice setup here. I've got a rig, even though, banned from Twitch or whatever. Like the things that are wrong with me at this point in my life, they might be stressful, but my personal things are annoyances at best. Like I will get through it, and I've been through way worse. And I had to glue this because I usually do that anyway, and I don't know why I didn't. So there's that. And I just don't I don't give myself a lot of time to just sit and be like, man, today sucks. And every once in a while I will do that, and I'll just kind of vent, and I'll vent it out. And my vent will end up turning into like something dumb about something that doesn't actually matter. Like that doesn't have anything to do with me. It'll be like, stop using paper tape. It's not archival, or, something like that. And, that's how you know that I'm over it, and I don't care. And the issue, of course, is by the time I made this and I edited this and I was ready to upload this, I was over it, and I had already been through like 5 other types of stress. So that's why I talked about the stress from last night and not the stress from last week, which is when I actually recorded this. And so I did really love the way that this came out, and I hope that this vlog wasn't probably as interesting as some of the other ones I've done, or, but it is very real. It's like what's going on right now. And there will be more. I will give more information as soon as it's safe to do so. And when I'm also like a little more guarded about some of the other stuff, I got to be very careful, because there is a lot of stuff I can't talk about right now because I don't know what's going to happen. I am actually in the dark. So, I really do appreciate anybody who's listening, and the comments that I've gotten, and it's very sweet. And I hope that, if you have any questions about anything I've actually done, let me know, because I have put all the materials in and stuff, but I mean, and you can kind of see what I'm doing. But I'm not really a teacher when it comes to this kind of thing. I can definitely teach. I just haven't been doing so when I've been vlogging, because this is my art journal. So it's really kind of for me. This is the first time at the end of the video I did actually include a photo of the art that I took with my phone. So that should work pretty well, actually, hopefully. And there's going to be another one pretty soon. I may even edit it, and who knows, maybe I'll even do it today. I don't know, but this has been, again, very awesome, and I really appreciate everybody. And I hope it's helpful for you too. Like I don't want people who have stress and stuff like that to feel alone. I know that everyone, sometimes it feels like the world's crashing down and that no one understands things, and I think everyone actually does. I think a lot of people do. So, have a great, wonderful day, and take care of yourselves.